Hello and welcome. So it is time check. My watch isn't working.
Eight
Time check.
forty-eight.
Yeah, okay.
8:48.
Pretty much 9 o'clock. So like always, we're going to give our reactions. Not our straight away reactions because that could have been quite crude, but our reactions with about 3 or 4 hours to reflect. So quickly, just go around. How did you see the game? How did you watch the game? How did you find out about the game? Mike, do you want to go first?
I was listening to BBC Radio Silent Sport.
Well then, Tiz.
I was trying my best to keep up with the live text commentary from BBC Sport.
Okay.
What were you doing at the time?
I'm a very busy man. I went to Chorley versus Torquay. It was a 1-0 win for the Chorley. The Magpies, as they're called, I believe. And so I was quite busy.
Okay, nice.
So, yeah.
I listened to the first half while doing my shopping, like I normally do on a Saturday, and then I watched the second half. To be fair, I found a decent stream and watched it. I know. Well, yeah, I watched it, which was quite interesting as well, to see how it differs from the actual highlights. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't actually get picked up. So if you do want to watch the highlights, I would recommend going and actually watching it on Match of the Day, not on YouTube, because they cut it down so it's so small, so they can get it out as quickly as possible. I don't actually think you get a feel for the game. We were talking, weren't we, Mike, about how we thought the clip was a bit biased to how the actual game flowed.
Yeah, it looked like that Arsenal was on top for the majority of the game, the way that they edited it, but wasn't true.
No. So, should we go? Well, go from the start. Lineups. When the lineups came in, what were you guys thinking?
I was very happy.
Yeah.
I was quite excited. We'd gone back to 4 at the back, playing 2 up front. I wasn't too fussed about the personnel. I was just quite happy that we were going 4-2-2-2.
Yeah.
It looked attacking.
Well, we've said it before, haven't we? That we want to see 4 at the back. We saw 4 at the back today. So when I saw that team news came in, I was very happy. Tiz, what did you think when you?
Instantly, I was like, Obafemi, why is he there? But then when I analysed it, and I thought, do you know what? Yeah, good back four. Looks like a 4-2-2-2, something that we've been crying out for, and it's just something different. So yeah. I liked it, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy seeing it. It's interesting. He's had his 2 weeks now, so this is who he sees his best squad as. Any surprises when you saw that team sheet, or were you just happy with how it came out?
Obafemi had gone from not really even on the bench to jumping Adams and Long into the starting 11. I was also a little bit surprised that one of Buffal or Gineppo wasn't in there. But I think what Ralph's plan was throughout the game is that you've got your most hard-working players out there, and then as the game progresses, you'll bring on the pace. And you'll bring on the players that can counter-attack. And that's how it did pan out. I know I saw a lot of people saying on Twitter why Buffal and Gineppo aren't starting at the end and how they were so effective against Arsenal. That's because they were on the back foot and we could just counter-attack them. They were just passing the ball along their back foot, and then we had the pace to counter-attack, and that's why they were that effective. They were forced to go forward and there was more space in behind.
Yeah. That's a good point. I'm just kind of looking at the overview of the game. So, yeah, the lineup looked. I mean, it looks. Was it a 4-2-2 we actually lined out in? Because I didn't really get to catch the starting formation. Do we believe that's what it is?
I think it was Ings and Obafemi up top. Obafemi was used as the outlet ball over the top if there was no working round. It was getting the ball lumped up to him. I think it was Redmond and Armstrong. I think Armstrong was out on the right, Redmond out on the left. Him and Bertrand had their partnership back, which was quite nice to see.
Yeah.
Højbjerg and Ward-Prowse as the two in the middle, and then Stevens. Benarek was on the left, Stevens was on the right, Cedric right back.
Bertrand back and left back, yeah.
Bertrand
and then McCarthy in goal. Did it surprise you that Adams not even on the subs bench, not in the squad at all? Considering, now we've gone for a two up front formation, it would push everyone up. The fact that Obafemi goes straight in and Long goes to the bench, Ings then looks like fourth choice striker. Does that surprise you, or do you reckon that's kind of where he is at the moment?
think confidence-wise, he probably is. I wouldn't say ability-wise. I'd say he's probably better than both Long and Obafemi. But
yeah,
I think confidence-wise, he's not played well when he has played. He hasn't been scoring goals, and it's tough because you want to give them the chances, but if it doesn't pay off, then their confidence is just going to like diminish quicker. So it's tough whether you start him or not, and we don't have a cup competition till the third round, so like early January, so we can't even just start him in that. And with the fixtures coming up as well, you don't really want to start Adams in that as well. So it's tough to see where he's getting back in.
Any other thoughts before we actually get into the game, Tiz? Any other thoughts you had coming into the game or just before kickoff?
Not massively, to be fair. Looking at the lineup, I thought it looks weak, but I was surprised that I saw Obafemi there. I was a bit surprised, like Mikey said, that Djenepo and Boufal was on the bench, but probably through his justification of it. And yeah, like I said, like you also said, I was surprised Adams didn't make the 18, but I guess he obviously thought for this game, Shane Long would probably be more effective off the bench, so I can understand it.
Do you see it more as a tactical?
So I also like, because of their 5 defenders and 2 central defensive midfielders, I thought they're there to be had as well.
Yeah, I thought it was quite strange that they came out. I mean, I mentioned it when we saw it. When the team sheets came out, 7 predominantly defensive players on their team sheet. Is that Emery's lack of confidence, or does that, almost flatter us a little bit? What do you reckon?
I think Emery was. He doesn't seem like he's a very attacking man. That he doesn't like the way that he plays. It doesn't seem like he wants to go all out attack. I think he does just want to play. He wants to try and keep a clean sheet and then play as little attackers as possible. But the problem with Arsenal's attack is at a pre-game, even though they were playing 7 defensive players, the names of Ozil, Lacazette, and Aubameyang still absolutely terrified me. So I know it did prove effective because they only had 3 shots in the first half and they scored 1 of them. But them playing 7 at the back didn't really change the way that I thought of the game.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so what I thought we'd do, go through chronologically through the main points, get to the end of the game, and then kind of summaries, takeaways, things like that. Are you happy to go through like that?
Yep.
That all good?
Yeah.
So obviously we got off to a good start. I can't really recollect what our early things on the game, but we started quite brightly. And I was quite happy to see this is a difference in goals that we'd already seen. It came from our build-up rather than pressing and creating mistakes from the defence of the opposition. So
it came from a little bit of quick thinking. That's all it was.
Yeah, a little bit of Arsenal complacency in whether it was a rolling ball or not, but nevertheless, good quick thinking from Ryan Bertrand to stop the ball, play it quickly. Danny Ings in back through, using his pace, and slotting away calmly when he's needed. It was a good goal and it put us on the front foot. Anything else you thought about that? I mean, I can't really think of.
It was just very nice to see that. Usually from most set pieces, we're quite slow to transition and get up the pitch and stuff like that. Just very nice to see that at least 2 of our players were switched on enough to see that there was a chance of catching Arsenal out. And fair play to the ref for carrying it on as well, because sometimes they do stop it if it's a quick free kick. But no, very good thinking from Bertrand and clinical from Ings as well, because I don't think he'd had an opportunity before then. Very good finish at the near post, caught the keeper out, and
definitely.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah, and it's like normal. We get into a game early, but I think it's positive because we haven't seen build-up play like that before. It's normally, like I said again, mistake or something from a set piece or something like that, and it's come out of technically open play. So yeah, I guess it's positive, right? Any Any other things we can take away from that? Early starting goal, starting bright, looking positive.
It felt like it was back to pre-season again.
Yeah.
Because we had the confidence to go out, press high, really try and get involved in the game and not let them have to come to us. So yeah, it was just really quite nice to see that we had that confidence to go out and actually attack Arsenal.
Yeah.
Tizard, do you have anything to say on it?
No, I think that's a fair point, and it was good to see from a free kick that was within 30 yards. We didn't all stop and say Ward-Prowse must take this. He must whip it into the box for a player for them then to knock it out. It was good to have different thinking, quick, decisive thinking, and that's what I liked about that goal.
Yeah. So yeah, we had the goal, and then was there much between our goal and Arsenal's?
We had, I think it was we had a lot of the ball in the first half. Well, not a lot. We created a lot of chances in the first half, but I think our lead only lasted 10 minutes, and then Arsenal went down left hand. Kieran Tierney, who had a very good game today, he really tested Cedric on that left hand side. He was very, very good, putting a good ball. Aubameyang was unmarked at the back post, but Bertrand managed to come across. Shot gets blocked with his face, and it falls straight to Lacazette.
Yeah.
Bednarek goes back on the line, and he misses the ball completely. So it's a frustrating goal to concede.
Okay, so we've just had Lacazette's goal, so we've kind of discussed that, and now we're joined with Jamie. So between the Lacazette goal and towards half-time, what was our kind of thoughts around that? What was our thinking of how we're playing after now conceding and chances towards half-time? What were our kind of thoughts?
From looking at Twitter feed, because I was in New Haven at the time of the game, filming a short film, upcoming short film, if you're wondering. And I saw a lot of people criticising Jack Stevens for going out of position quite a lot.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there's anything to say on that. But I also thought there's lots of positivity on Twitter about this game, despite the last goal. I thought we played quite well in the first half, obviously despite the whole Lacazette goal.
Yeah. What did I'm not too sure. Mikey, what was your kind of thoughts?
I'm watching it back. Go to Tizard.
It's quite difficult. Yeah, go on, Tiz.
So for me, it was a very Southampton-esque, get yourself into the lead, look like you're quite strong in the game, concede, and then, to be fair, even then we still pushed on. From what I saw, it was still us going, do you know what, let's keep on attacking. And frustratingly, when I looked at the half-time stats, they only had that one shot on target and about 3 other shots, and we had 10. So it was frustrating, but there was a positive to take out of that first half and drive into the second. Yeah.
I also thought, when watching it, I thought, was it Guendouzi, their centre midfielder? Looked very good on the ball, very powerful, holding off a lot of our players, had that kind of that different class in that midfield. I thought him picking up the ball and moving it round, obviously very strong. I thought he looked a different class on there today as I was watching it. But yeah, between their goal and the half-time, there's nothing really that comes to mind. I can't really think of too much. I don't know whether that's just me or it just kind of fizzled out. I remember it looked like we were kind of happy to go into half-time with it being 1-1, I think. It looked like we were just kind of taking our time, or what I heard anyway, it seemed like we were happy to kind of take our time in those last 5 minutes and not have that goal as close as possible. Oh, Jamie getting his shirt off. That time where we've been really close to half-time, conceded, and it just completely affecting our mentality going into the second half, because you're not level, you're now chasing the game. It changes the subs, it changes the mentality, it changes the team talk, all of those things. So yeah, I think it just seemed like we were kind of happy to be level at the half and then build from there.
Just watch back the first goal. It's just all a little bit of a mess, really. Stevens went to press a pass to Aubameyang. He got it off quite quickly. They went wide, and then Bednarek was the only centre back in the centre because Stevens hadn't dropped in. Bednarek missed the initial header. Bertrand blocked it, but they already had Bellerin on the overlap as well, and it just fell to Lacazette. It was just a little bit of a mess. No one really knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't pretty.
No. And then second half starts. Arsenal bring on Pepe straight away at the half.
And things got a little bit scary.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
from what I saw, it seemed we were a little bit panicky. I can't remember when the chance was, but there was a point where Pepe went pretty much one-on-one and his pace just went straight past. Yeah, he hit the bar. There was another one, I don't know whether it was on the highlights or if it was just on the stream I was watching, but he basically went straight through and Bednarek was coming across, but it was a 2v1 and Bednarek slid but kind of kept his leg back, so he blocked the switch about, on another time a second later, and that's been squared and it's in the back of the net.
I think Pepe and Ozil were up there together and Bednarek managed to block it somehow.
It's one of those games I thought Ozil looked like involved in it. This was the kind of games that he likes. At the times where Arsenal in possession, he can make things happen. I think he did look dangerous today. So it was quite lucky we kind of shut him down a little bit. But yeah, he did still kind of look dangerous, as he can do. Sometimes he can look utterly useless, but sometimes, like today, he looked a real threat. So yeah. Should we skip to the penalty? Because again, I can't really think of too much between them.
Ward-Prowse shouldn't be on penalties. That's what I'm saying.
That's it was a pretty one he's missed.
Yeah, come on.
Was that?
It was a bad.
We don't have a proper set.
Was the Cedric switch to Obafemi across the box before or after the penalty? Because that was quite a big chance that.
Oh, that was before the penalty.
Yeah.
Cedric pressed. Socrates had a really poor touch. Cedric pressed him really well.
Yeah.
And then
put it across, but then put it about chest height.
No, he didn't put it across. He smacked it across the box.
Yeah.
He's literally on the corner of the 6-yard box, and he smacks it across while Obafemi just standing there. And that's it will be something that I really sum up at the end, but it was just down to composure and the fact that we just lacked so much of it.
Just got it here. 66 minutes. How has Southampton not scored? Socrates tries to dribble in his own box and caught by Cedric, but the right back's cross was too heavy for Obafemi, and the chance for a simple tap in goes begging. There you go. So that was on 66 minutes. So yeah, there you go. Good call, Tiz. That was the one you were talking about. Yeah. Just composure it comes down to, really, doesn't it? At the end, it just needs to be along the floor, calmly put, and Obafemi's got a clear chance. But
he's got an open goal.
Yeah, we'll come back to open goals when we get nearer on the game. So we've got a penalty, haven't we? Who was it that gave it away? It was Tierney, wasn't it?
Tierney gave it away. It was probably the only wrong foot he put on there. Obafemi had the ball on the edge of the box. It tried to put a through ball to Danny Ings, and Tierney just grabbed onto the back of his arm. He just pulled it back,
really, didn't he? There was a quick VAR check about it, but I think they were more checking the offside in the build-up rather than...
Yeah, they were seeing if Ings was offside.
Ings was offside, but it wasn't, so the penalty went ahead. Ward-Prowse goes for keeper's left, his right. It's not in the corner. It's more probably about 2 yards
it's
away
from the middle sort of thing.
Yeah, it was kind of middle right.
It's strange. I was a bit confused.
1-2 yards to the left.
Because in my opinion, I would put it in the corners or bang dead in the middle.
Oh yeah, Jamie, you're well known for putting penalties in corners.
We know where you past it, but
I'm pretty sure I scored a penalty, so I'm educated enough to say.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, mate. I think I did.
I know we did a penalty shootout once, and you had to edit out your penalty shoot.
That was
over
true.
the cross.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Saints. I think it was a bit of a weak penalty. Whether that's again confidence or that chance to put Saints ahead, and it's that composure, not sure. But what the penalty was lacking meant the keeper could only push it out in the way Ward-Prowse could follow it up and could slot it into the other side of the empty net. So we did eventually get a goal from it, which is, I guess, a positive. So we're 2-1 up at this point. Everyone's kind of looking around at each other. But I think confidence has gone back up at this point because we're ahead, but we're in a winning position with 20 minutes to go. So you always know there's trouble there.
Prowse does the Ronaldo celebration.
Yeah,
which
he
is
Yeah.
he's infamous for against the North London sides.
Yeah, if you bang in a free kick from 25 yards, I'll give you that. But
When you miss a penalty and have to
Missing a
tap it
penalty,
home from 2 yards,
yeah.
you know, it's a little bit more of a thing.
yeah, not.
It shows his passion for the club when he scores a goal.
Prowse scores more goals than Ronaldo today.
Instead of you lot.
Thank you very much, Susan.
He's passionate about the club.
Yes.
Okay, so penalties.
And also, I've just meant 250 appearance for Prowse for the club.
Yep.
Not many
Prowse.
people make it to that margin because they usually get brought to Liverpool. But no, I feel like Ward-Prowse was, when he was like 17 and starting in the Premier League and everything like that, he was brought up to be this creative force. And obviously he's not that, but people still expect him to be that. I think that's the reason why people have been calling for Ward-Prowse not this creative spark like that everyone expects him to be.
Yeah.
But that's not the role in the squad that he is now. He's not the playmaker that we hoped he would be. He's a worker in that midfield. So I like Ward-Prowse in the side. I like Ward-Prowse starting because I know that we've at least got one midfielder who will just keep running.
Yeah.
Which I think is useful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So goals gone in. We then do 2 subs about 5 minutes after. We've got Ings coming off for Long. I guess that's just to help with fresh legs.
Like for like.
Yeah, push the Arsenal defence, get those Shane Long with that bit of pace. And then Obafemi comes off for Djempo. So what are we saying? 4-5-1 then maybe? I don't know. Possibly Djempo going out wide. So. And then Redmond coming more inside. Maybe Redmond going up front then? I can't quite remember.
I'm not too sure how it really looks.
Maybe a 4-4-1-1. But yeah, he's brought on Djempo. I think Djempo did play out wide. So yeah, maybe Redmond coming on inside. And then who would have been on the other side? It would have been Armstrong. No, maybe Armstrong came inside and Djempo came on the right. Redmond on the right.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Does it matter?
Nah, it doesn't matter. And then we get into the last kind of 20 minutes, the pivotal point. Arsenal have a couple of chances. They bring on their final substitution.
Angus Gunn knocks out Jan Bednarekis in extra time.
Yeah,
McCarthy knocks out Jack Stevens.
Sorry. Was it? Oh, my bad. I meant to say, sorry to apologise. But yeah, so technically it's McCarthy's fault we lost the game today. If he didn't do that,
you could do that with the goal as well. You don't have to go with it punching him in the face.
The extra time would have gone that long if Jack Stevens wasn't much of a wimp about it, or didn't.
I was so frustrated.
Punched in the face.
So frustrated. Because I was in the stands and watched the game, thinking, only 4 minutes added on. Game's probably over by now. Refreshed, it's 7 minutes added time.
Yeah.
What has gone on?
Yeah.
What has gone on? But I know we sort of rewind forwards to the game, but like after about 15 minutes, when we were 1-0 up, or it was either 1-0 or 1-1, and I turned to my friend and I was like, in the stands, at the 86th minute, I know what's going to happen. They'll score with literally seconds to go because that's just the Southampton way. And
you know what they say? Death taxes Southampton dropping points in the last 10 minutes.
Yes. Yes, we do. I wonder where you saw that one, son.
I don't know you on about, mate.
Yeah, right. It also apparently says here that Armstrong came off for Buffal because of an injury. I didn't actually see that, but
he was cramping up.
Right, okay. So came off for cramp. 87 minutes was probably the bit, I was saying about Djempo not taking opportunities. But we came down the side, squared, basically open goal when it hits it very weakly straight down
6 yards out.
Yeah, for the Arsenal defender to block. I think we had another chance.
Gineppo had another one where he put it wide as well.
Yeah, he put it wide where he should have put it in, and we eventually, the pressure from Arsenal mounts. We don't capitalise on our chances. We should have at least been possibly another goal up on another day if those chances go in the back of the net. And again, another scrappy kind of play from Arsenal. It comes down the left. Who put the ball in? Was it Tierney that put the ball in?
No, it's
I'm not
Martinelli.
sure.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
Cedric didn't get out quick enough to him. Let him drift inside. Ball came into the box. McCarthy flapped at it.
Yeah,
like,
kind of died.
quite
Again.
pathetically.
I don't really
missed
understand what he was
it
doing.
And
No. It's the same.
no.
I'm surprised he didn't learn his lesson because he did the same against Manchester City and we conceded from it in the last seconds.
Yeah.
So, do you think that if that was Angus Gunn, he'd get absolutely rinsed for it?
Oh yeah.
Possibly,
By the Twitter base.
Yeah, possibly. But has McCarthy been rinsed for it on Twitter? Have we seen that?
I've not seen it
No.
as much as.
No, someone told him that he was in the form of his life, so I don't think he has been rinsed.
Really?
Not sure.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
not
But
quite.
no,
formed,
it
just like-
was probably Bertrand's fault. He lost his man at the back. It was just loads of errors coming through. Cedric not getting there quick enough. Stevens missed a challenge with Aubameyang in the air. He backed off instead of going to commit to him. And then everyone sort of had their man lined up. It was like Stevens had Aubameyang, Bednarek was on Pepe, Bertrand was on Lacazette, and Bertrand just tucked it inside a little bit too much. Gave Lacazette the space, and Lacazette had a touch before he even got the shot away, which is ridiculous when you're standing in the 6-yard box. I understand that they're all out on their feet. It's the 96th minute. They've been playing and pressing really hard and tough, but you've got 90 seconds left. You might as well put in some effort.
More effort than if anyone else in the game.
Yeah.
Was my opinion.
Yeah. To be fair, a lot of people, I think it's half and half, but it's not everyone's slating McCarthy because it seems like a lot of people in the first half, I think he pulled off a good save, so a lot of people kind of not really, and I think as well that I don't think many people really saw the. Oh, actually, no, they tell a lie because it was on the highlights, wasn't it? People saw the mistake. Yeah, to be fair to us, then I'm not too sure why he hasn't been picked up on that. A couple of people have mentioned it, but a couple of people pick up on everything. So
Very true.
It doesn't seem like it's had the reaction. Yeah, it's good pointers. It doesn't seem like it's hit the stuff's hit the fan as it sometimes normally does if Gunn makes a mistake. So is that kind of bias coming in from some people who have their favourites? It's quite ironic that some people have a go at Ralph for picking his favourites, but yet again will consistently slate one player and give many other chances when they don't really deserve it sometimes. But hey, there you go. What can we do about that? We can't do anything about that.
Exactly.
Well, we don't know unless we're in the actual job, Ollie.
No. So
you can't technically say that.
Game
ends.
Game's finished, so we've had a bit of time to reflect. Mikey's calmed down; he's not shaking anymore. We can kind of fit. Before this game, I think I said a 1-1, or at least one of us said a 1-1.
I think I said we would lose.
Yeah, I'd have to listen back to it and see what the predictions were. But I think at least one of us said a 1-1, so I think we would have been quite happy with a draw. However, it's come down to the fact that...
Yes, I think my prediction of 7 to 8 points... Wait.
Should we come back?
Yes.
Right, let me
7 points. 7 points could be on the target right now, because I said a draw against Arsenal possibly, or a loss, that's what I remember. And I said a win against the next two oppositions.
Yeah. Well then...
Okay,
so you're on track on that. But I think that it comes down to the fact again that it's easy enough to try and think before the game because Arsenal are a much better team, but it really comes down to the situation because upsets, winning whilst you can is a very big part. It's not just who's the better team or the position of the team. It's to do with form. It's about to do with what's happening on the day. You think Arsenal are on a pretty poor run of form at the moment, and although they do have the quality, you would hope that we would try and capitalise from a winning position. And although you've got to say, we scored 2 goals and they could only equalise for 2-2, it's so demoralising. The players are going to be so disheartened. You saw as soon as that goal went in, they're all to their knees, they're all shaking their heads. You kind of think, how
I think it's it's a little bit different to that because in the moment. So I always have it 15 minutes after the game is where all the raw emotions come out. Like they release like a 30-second video of the players walking over to the fans and clapping them at the end of every away game. That's probably the most emotional I've seen that set of players at the end of a game because they've put all their effort in. They had the chance to win it and they blew it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most emotional I've seen the players after the game. But you get to the end of like that 15-minute spell and you reflect it in a different way. So at the end of the game, I was absolutely fuming that we conceded another late goal, that we should have actually put the chances away. But the fact that we've gone away at the Emirates, a stadium that, we've gone away to Arsenal, a place where we haven't won for 32 years. We put in a really good performance. Drawn 2-2, we pressed them high, we put them under a lot of pressure, and we've managed to get a very decent result out of it. I know it's frustrating to concede a late goal, but...
Yeah, I think his issue is if it was before the game and he said 2-2, everyone would take that as just the fact it was the last minute of the game.
Yeah, and I think it's... I mean, you can rely on the fact that, there's big teams that you've got to... But Tiz mentions it every time. There's no easy game in this league, and the fact that we said Everton's a must-win and we came out losing that game, it really boils down to the fact that you have to take your chances when you can. You can't just rely on taking it before the game and saying, we would have taken a draw, it doesn't matter. It's more on the fact of the mentalities that we are still conceding, and whether it's just whether it means either too little or too much in the fact that we do start consistently crumbling whenever we have the opportunity to better ourselves. Because a draw, does it still keep us in the relegation zone?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Even with a win, we would have still been in the relegation.
Yeah, but still, 19, you think if you could go off just stay strong for 10 minutes, that chance goes in, and you've got a win against Arsenal, and you've got 2 games in a week, and you're in such better morale to go into those games. But now it puts immense pressure on the next game, which is Watford, because if there's not 3 points against Watford, then it's an even more important must-win against Norwich, and it will just keep on snowballing. So at one point, you're going to have to dig in and actually get the 3 points and hold your own. Otherwise, we will just be looking for the next win throughout the whole season. You've got to dig in deep and get those 3 points at some point. And to be honest, there's no guarantee that that Watford game is going to be easier than the current Arsenal game. Because yes, they've got quality, but at that point they were very vulnerable. They were in low morale. They were behind on the game. We actually had more shots on target than they did in the whole game. We created more chances. Yeah, they had more possession, but we held our own. We played well, and we're a good team away from home. We've always said this. We set up well away from home, but now we've got to go to our stadium at home where we're not so great and get. It's Watford at home first, isn't it?
Watford and Norwich at home.
Yeah, they're both at home. There you go. So that's another issue that we're facing. We've got to now go to somewhere where we don't win very often and win 2 must-win games. But
then that is on the back of a very good performance away at the Emirates. So I see where you're coming from, but at least there are positives to take from it. We haven't been slapped 5-0. It's not like we've tried. We've basically played defensive for the entire game, and we've somehow scraped a 2-2 draw. We've dominated a very good Arsenal side. I don't care what sort of form they're in, because form pretty much means nothing on a game day. So, you think about it, you just turn up on the game day. It doesn't matter what piece of form you're in. I
think it does. I think it does really matter.
We didn't win for the first 11 games of the season, and then Ralph comes in and we go and beat Arsenal 3-2.
Whilst they were on 22 on games unbeaten.
Yeah.
And you got to say that's pretty poor form if they're 22 games unbeaten.
Wait,
we're on. Wait, they're all.
They were 22 games unbeaten.
They were. So that means they've not lost. They've drawn or won. But look at that game for me.
The form has got to change if you get a new manager in. You're going to have a new mentality. You're going to be excited that you're playing pressing football. There's going to be a change of form in that team.
Yeah, but then you'd also have to learn the system. So it's not just down to form; it's the fact that the players wanted to learn the system.
So what's it down
For
to?
me,
Like it could have been. You remember when Hughes came in, and everyone was supposed to be excited about that, and we went and lost 3-0 to West Ham. Right? It doesn't always happen. The new manager bounce does not always happen. Form isn't incredibly important. I understand having a long game of one runs like boosts your confidence, but then you can get overconfident.
I don't think it's just. I think it's just the overall mentality of that team, that confidence, whatever you want to call it. I think form is just one factor, but I think it does make a difference to the overall morale of that team that you're playing against. You've got to try.
It makes a difference, but it's not like the be all and end all of everything. It's not like if you've gone and won 5 games in a row and you won't lose again.
But the reason that this game against Everton that we lost was so crucial compared to Everton last season is because Everton were a much better team. Why was that? Because they had better form, they had better morale, whatever. But if you said playing Everton last season versus playing Everton this season, because of their current form and morale, it's a much more winnable game and a must-win game. That's the difference. They've still got the same players. They've still got the same manager. But why is it a different game? Why is it a must-win instead of an even game? What's the difference there then?
Because they're lower in the table.
Exactly. The form, morale, whatever you want to call it. They're lower in the table. Arsenal are lower in the table than they were last season. You can call it what you want, but you should take your opportunities when you can. Especially,
we should have. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have beaten them today. We should have beaten them today. But we should have beaten them today.
I think that will have an effect on the players. I think it will. I think they will be focusing. Especially,
it can go one of two ways. You can either take it on the result or take it on the performance. And I hope we take it on the performance and not on the result.
Yeah,
and that's what the fans should do as well.
I do hope it is that as well. But in the position they are at the moment, it's much easier to take on the negative effects of that game than the positive. Although you think of it as a level-headed way and think, hopefully they'll take the performance. They may be looking at it, if they're in a bad frame of mind, thinking, yet again, that's another opportunity we've wasted. Another time we're on our hands and knees at the 90th minute, giving our shirts away to the fans, blah, 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 blah. You know, it.
I also think our fan base think that we're in a lot dire situation than we actually are.
Well, we are 19th.
We're 19th with 9 points. Okay, if Villa lose tomorrow, they're on 11. So 1 win, we're already out of the relegation zone. If we beat Watford, we're out of the relegation zone. We can, if we win our next 2 games against Watford and Norwich, we're on 15 points. So we could be up to 12th.
That's it. There's no guarantee that's going to happen.
Yeah, I know it's an if, but that is a situation. Why can't we be positive for once? Why can't we go, we can win the next 2 games and we can get into mid-table?
But you can be positive. I'm trying to be positive, but there's an extent to where you've got to try and look at it rationally as well and say, you know, there's 2 sides to every story, and I'm not necessarily focusing on one side than the other, but I'm just trying to be level and say that they can take positives, but there could be negatives that also come out of that game. It's not necessarily that there will just be one frame of mind. It could be split halfway. There could be half players that say, "Oh, let's go on, kick on, and be the next and win the next 2," and there could be people that don't. You know, it's you know.
So those people who don't should not be starting in the next game.
I don't know. I don't go to the ground. I don't see how they train in midweek. I don't know. But
I wasn't invited to Southampton, so I don't know.
I don't think every single player will be taking positives out of that game. I think there will be some. Especially, imagine who caused the mistake for the goal. McCarthy, possibly a centre back.
Lots of people.
You know, you think there's going to be players in there who had people like Ings and Redmond who did their job pretty much perfectly. But it's the defence who are probably going to get defence and the goalkeeper who's going to get the stick, and will probably take that result much different to the strikers and midfield. Because technically, if you had to look at how they played today, they played pretty spot on. There wasn't much you could really say. Whereas defensively and
I wouldn't say it would be like you don't. It's not like American football. You don't have 2 units to everything. You don't have a defense and an offense. You play as a team. You play as an 11.
Yeah.
So attacking wise, you defend from the front and you attack from the defense. So our our goals, like Ryan Bertrand, he may have made a mistake defensively, but he's the one who thought quickly for the goal. So you take confidence in that attackingly.
Yeah.
Well, like David Luiz managed to play a 40-yard ball from inside our half for the goal. So that might be the problem with the winger not pressing. So it's not just like the centre backs are at fault for the goals down there and then they don't play a part in the goals up there. Like it's the whole team. So defensively, the whole team should take responsibility. Offensively, the whole team should take the whole responsibility.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be the centre backs taking responsibility for the fact we conceded twice today.
It's true. Maybe I'm just being a cynic. We'll see, won't we? We'll see next week. See what happens. I want to see as much as everyone else us kick on and do well. However, do I see it? I don't know. If you had to say before and after the game, out of 10, how confident you feel about the next game, how much would it change for you?
Probably wouldn't. Well, no, actually, no. I feel more confident about the Watford game.
Yeah. Well, but how much more would you say? You're very, would it be a 5 to an 8, or would it be a 5 to a 6? Would it be a small increase, large increase?
It'll probably be to a 7. I wouldn't say that we're dead. It's not like we're guaranteed a win against Watford because we played well against Arsenal, but you definitely take a lot more confidence into it because of the performance and how well everyone did play.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Guys, sorry, I feel like me and Mike have been back and forth in for a while.
It's fine, man. I don't care. I just.
I'm
sorry.
It's fine.
What are your two thoughts now?
Me and Jamie allowed to speak.
Yeah,
No.
Are you sure?
That's the end of the podcast.
Look, me and Mikey will sit back for a while. You guys, what are your guys' thoughts? What are your before and afters?
Confident now going into this Watford game because the team really were encouraged by performance today, despite the whole, the last minute loss. So I actually think a possibility. I honestly, first time in a while, I think we genuinely will win a game. I know joke around about winning a lot. However, I genuinely do think we can win this upcoming game. It's only if Shane Long scores a goal quicker than his last one.
We drew that game.
My sort of thinking is that yes, we did play well, but now Norwich got 3 points on the board against Everton. Watford have just lost 3-0. And at the end of the season, it's not going to be us fighting against relegation against Watford because they're probably going to be down already. It's against another two teams, and it is a must-win game. And I was sat in the car on the way back, thinking about our game, thinking about the game, and it did demoralise me. So, to be honest, I'm someone that's always a happy clapper, as I've been known. But the problem is I've seen our performance and thought our players need to stop learning about what they need to go next game and next game and next game. They need to start knowing, because there's always a lot of learning, but there doesn't seem like there's been a lot of knowing how to actually keep a defence, keep strong. Someone on our group chat that I don't really normally trust for statistics, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. He said we've lost 36 points of winning positions probably since the start of next season. Sorry, not next season, last season. So my problem is with that is that why from now till then, as much as they say we're going to learn, we're going to build all this that, why is it still happening? It's more of a deep rooted thing. Yes, I always think that we're going to stay up because I'm a Southampton fan, and I always think that we're going to stay up because if you're not thinking that positively, there's no point supporting the sides. But yes, I'm more confident for our game against Watford because against Watford v Norwich, one of my friends is a Norwich fan, and I said to him, Watford haven't won, but not averages. They will win at some point. So it does say there's never a team that hasn't won. They will win at some point, meaning that for us at home, that we haven't won yet. So at some point we've got to win. But at some point we will win, and hopefully that's on Saturday.
That's a lot
on. That's we're going to make on Saturday. On the Sunday and Tuesday and Wednesday.
You're going on a lot of well, not it's the positives. I think because you say that you're being negative there, but you're going on the fact that you think eventually it will come round. So you see something there that believes there's enough to eventually come round. So I think you're not being particularly negative. I think you are still being positive in saying that everyone has their chance and something will come round and come good, because I guess you still have confidence in the side.
It seems like we're playing on the front foot as well. Like against Arsenal, I wasn't expecting us to go with a 4. If it was a 4-2-2-2, I was expecting us to be a bit more defensive against Arsenal. But the fact that we had the confidence to play with just a back 4, another 2, and then a 2, and then and drop Romeu. Like I've been saying, Romeu eventually does seem like quite a one-dimensional player, and it's interesting to see that they have actually dropped him, and we've not actually lost a game because of it. It's not been because we've lost that ball-winning midfielder that we've drawn the game. It's down to other reasons. So it'll be interesting to see if against Watford at home, where we should be attacking even more, if he gets put back in.
Yeah, and Watford most likely to line up with a 5 at the back, meaning we're probably going at 4 at the back, putting more people in the midfield will probably provide us with more chance to dominate the game, won't it? It'll be an interesting one. We'll see what our reaction is after that, and see what we feel like. Any other points anyone wants to add? Because I feel like we've kind of done our overall thoughts.
First game that we've not lost from a post-match podcast. Let's go.
Yeah.
One in what? 4? 1 in 4. The first in 4 that we haven't actually lost. So that's good.
It still felt like we did.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the point that we eventually have a post-match podcast where we actually win a game.
Tizard, do you mean next week?
That's what.
Yes.
Next week. Yeah, next
Yes.
week we're gonna bring the first win of
Bring the
post-match
party
podcast.
poppers.
Yeah. We'll have a party.
I'll bring the clappers.
Stuff.
I'll bring the clappers.
We'll have a party. If we win the Watford game, we'll have a nice little party.
Tizard will have his raisins.
We'll still be in the relegation zone, but we'll bring the party.
Yeah, nice. Okay, right. So I don't think we've got anything to add. Jamie, stop pointing at the cupboard. Join us for the preview that will be against the Watford game. It will probably do that Thursday. So Tiz, how can they get the questions in?
So Wednesdays, maybe Tuesdays, maybe Thursday mornings. Saints Prime on the Instagram. I'll put a story out asking you to ask questions. We'll answer all of them as long as they're PG.
Of course.
I'll put a link out how you can listen on the YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts on the Instagram story. So there's always you'll be covered. Yep. You'll be covered.
Yeah, keep up to date on the Twitter as well. You'll get notifications as soon as podcasts go out, and you'll have all the links there, so you can go straight to it. So if you want to know when they are available, just keep the notifications on, and bam, as soon as they're ready, it'll be sent straight out. You can go straight to the listening. So thank you very much for listening. We'll see you for Watford preview. I've been joined by Harry.
Hello.
I've been joined by Jamie. And I've been joined by Mikey.
Hello.
All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye.